Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Damola. I hope you guys missed me as much as I missed you because I definitely missed you. Anyways, if you don't know who I am the one and the only host of Conversations with Damola. My name is Damola, and here with me today is someone I hold extremely dearly to my heart. She's not only a friend, but like a sister to me. She is someone who the first time I had the opportunity of speaking with her, guys, when I say I could feel my brain cells increasing, I mean that to every single word. She's beautiful, she is kind, very, very intelligent and eloquent. Here with me is Dr. Pharmacist Seda.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for all the accolades. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm a pharmacist, doctor of pharmacy. I have a clothing brand that I run. I'm into fashion. I love everything fashion, everything creative, art,
Okay.
everything. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the accolades and
Guys,
compliments.
just a quick side piece. There was a time me and Seda were going out, we wanted to hang out. And she went to literally the Instagram page to go and check the aesthetic of the place. And when I say she gave that everything that I've been telling her, I said, go into content creation, you're going to blow. You know those friends that instead of them to bring the cash, they're dulling on their potential. But that's just a side note that I wanted to push out there. Anyways, thank you
Yeah,
so much
sure.
for
Thank you.
thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We're very, very glad to have you. Anyways, guys, today's topic is like the many other things we've been discussing, something very impactful, knowledgeable, and I believe will change your perspective on a lot of things, would educate you on a lot of things. Our topic for today is called Knowing Your Worth, the Journey to Self Respect, Building Self Love, Confidence, and Boundaries. So first of all, let's just start with this. What were you thinking when you first saw the topic?
To be honest, I I felt like something is very related to kind of things I speak on. So I found it, I
Mm,
speak of. I found the topic very interesting. When you told me about it, I was like, wow, like if only she knew, like these are the kind of things I like to talk about. Like these are
yeah,
things
it
that,
felt familiar.
yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So I couldn't wait actually to get on
Mm,
here to talk about because it's
mm-hmm.
something that also feels very personal because I can relate in terms of a lot of things we're going to cover today. So I'm not just going to talk from a general point of view. I'm going to talk from my own perspective as well because this journey is something that I also had to
Really,
undertake as
yeah.
well. So yeah,
Wow, that's so beautiful. Guys, remember that saying, experience is the best teacher. So we're going to be talking from a point of experience and not just knowledge.
yeah,
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to, feel that vulnerability.
yeah.
Anyways, so our first question is, we hear the phrase know your worth all the time. But what does someone who truly knows their worth actually look like in everyday life? Is it, do you have to have this chip on your shoulder? You look so confident and you're like, yeah, I know who I am. I have 10,000 billion pounds in my account. No one can chat to me. Do you get what I mean? Like, what does someone who knows their worth, quote and unquote, actually look like in our everyday life?
Mm, if when you say self worth, it goes without saying literally the phrase means self worth. That's
Mm,
the worth of oneself. So
mhm,
that's when you know your value. So
mm,
as humans, we're born with innate value. It's not even something you have to acquire as you're born as someone with value,
mhm,
right?
yeah.
So that's self worth. And then true self worth is when you become aware of this. Now you know that as a human being I was born with value, I'm inherently valuable, I'm inherently worthy,
Mhm,
and then it starts to reflect in how you carry yourself. It doesn't
mm.
necessarily mean you have to have everything in the
Figure
world
it out,
or
yeah.
figure it out, but you carry yourself with a certain level of confidence,
Mm,
knowing that no matter what, no matter where you find yourself,
mm,
you are valuable and you're
mm.
deserving of love and respect from everyone. So
Yeah.
that's how I see
See
self
each
worth.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you said, it is first of all, self worth. Human beings are born valuable, right? but there is a process you have to undergo for you to really realize that value.
Yeah.
I also went through a journey where I had to really understand who I was. And I think for me, what I understand by knowing your worth or what a person in our everyday life looks like, someone who knows their worth looks like is someone who has time and time again proven themselves true. For example, if you say you're going to do something, it could be very little. If you tell yourself, I am going to go to the gym every single, like 3 times a week or 4 times a week for the next 1 year to achieve a goal, and you actually um put in that work and you achieve it boosts, it adds something to your confidence
Yeah.
and adds something to your value. Now you have that confidence that I say what I say and I mean it and I stand by it. It's like when you keep investing into something, you have this confidence that this thing is worth something, right?
Yeah.
So the more you invest in yourself, I feel like an everyday, someone who knows their worth in our everyday life is someone who, first of all, stands by what they say,
Mm-hmm.
and secondly, someone who constantly invests in themselves. It's not necessarily about knowing everything. And I'm not just talking, when I say investment, I don't just mean it from a place of money.
Mm.
It's like knowledge,
Yeah.
you know, experiences, traveling, even with your interactions with people, colleagues, knowing when to walk away from disrespect and just stuff like that.
Yeah.
But moving on to the next question, what's the difference between loving someone deeply and losing yourself in the process? How do you think people recognize when they've crossed that? This is a question that is like very, what's the word now? Very touchy for me. So if you could explain it a little for us, the difference between just saying, "Oh, I love this person so much, I could die for this person," and the point where you're like, "Yeah, no, I've lost all self-respect." You get what I mean? Like you're losing yourself, and this love is practically consuming you.
Yeah. So it all starts from self love, right? So when you love yourself truly, when you hold yourself highly and place yourself on a very
High
high
pedestal.
pedestal or great level, it's going to reflect in how you receive love, right?
Receive. Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's so beautiful. Okay, continue. I would like to add something to that, but I'll let you finish.
Okay. So, first of all, if you're able to love yourself, you'll be able to receive love from someone. When you see that you're worthy of, that's why your ideal self worth is very important. Because when you know that you're worthy of love and then you love yourself, you'll be able to easily accept love from others, right? So when you do let people in and accept their love, if your worth as a person is grounded, you would easily be able to establish boundaries and things like that. So, so if you establish boundaries with people, you are less likely to lose yourself in it. And what's losing yourself essentially? That's when you start to love others more than you love yourself. When you're self-sacrificial, when you abandon yourself. So that's why it's very key that you have a grounded sense of self-worth.
Yeah.
Yes, so that you don't lose yourself in the process.
Yeah, I think that that's very beautiful. Learning how to receive love. So I feel like sometimes, I don't know, I don't want to generalize, but I would like to say mostly for women, we feel like when we love someone, we always have to give and give and give and give. And sometimes we forget to know how to receive. And a person, if you see someone who knows how to receive love, is someone who actually loves themselves.
Yeah.
Like, and we don't even realize it, but the kind of things we say about ourselves when we're talking to friends or family is a quiet indication or of how much you see yourself of how well you love yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you see someone who always say, okay, so like there was a time where I really, really battled with self-image, right? So I would always make jokes. So how I felt thought of it in my head is if I laugh at myself, you won't be able to laugh at me,
Yeah.
right? Which is stupid because I'm a very fine girl. Do you
Yeah.
understand? But I don't know,
As
at
you
the
are.
time I did not realize it, obviously.
Yes.
So I would say stuff like, forget that, me that I like food, I'm a big back, I'm very fat, that kind of thing.
Mm.
In my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm saying it so that you will say back to me. So yes,
Self-deprecation. Yeah.
self-deprecation. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, if I get to say it first, you would clock that it's no longer an insult,
Yeah.
right? But actually, what I'm doing is that I'm teaching this person to disrespect me.
Yeah.
So when I get in a situation of a romantic relationship with a partner, and I see this person probably show me an out of love,
Yeah.
instead of me to receive that love and just keep it as it is,
Yeah.
right? I let it consume me because I start to see myself through the lenses of that person.
Yeah.
So every action, every comment, every word, every pause is an indication of something that has not been healed in me.
Yeah.
So if I am with a man or I'm dating someone, and for example now he doesn't call me throughout the day, I will start thinking, oh, he doesn't love me. He's probably with somebody else. Oh, I'm too much for him. He's probably tired of me. When all of that is just a reflection of how I see myself.
Yeah.
I probably see myself, that was before, Sha, not right now.
Yeah.
Probably see myself as someone who is too much to be loved. So it's like I'm expecting this person to leave. So
Yeah.
instead of just receiving, I'm holding on to this thing. And you know the very beautiful thing about this?
Yeah.
When you keep holding on to it, people always leave. But the day you let go, that is when you'll find someone that is actually there with you to ride it through thick or thin.
Yeah. But like you said, you teach people how to treat you. When people see how much you love and carry yourself, naturally they will do the same. They will love you, right? Because they know that this girl doesn't joke with herself. She loves herself, and therefore I will continue in the same pattern and love her as she deserves to be loved. She already knows that she deserves to be loved.
Yeah. Anyway, so our next question: many people struggle to say no because they're afraid of disappointing others. Why do you think setting boundaries often comes with guilt? And how can someone overcome that guilt? It's so funny because I want to quickly say this. I was on live, I think a few days ago or a week ago, and I was with a stranger. Okay, well, not really a stranger, but a guest that was on my live on TikTok, and we're talking about this no, right? The ability to say no. But what we were talking about is actually the ability to receive no as an answer. So a lot of the times we find that personally, me, I used to be the kind of person that I do not like. I will not ask you a question, because I don't want you to say no to me.
Yeah.
So when I learned how to receive that no, it was like as if I broke free from this bondage. I stopped seeing the world in a certain way, and I was just like, you know what? At the end of the day, it's either yes or no. If it's a no, nothing spoiled. I keep pushing. If it's a yes, good and fine. But still, do you understand? But anyways, back to the question. How how do you think people can overcome the guilt of setting boundaries and just being able to say no?
Okay. So to me, boundaries are necessary when it comes to interpersonal relationships with people. Your boundaries literally exist to protect you.
Okay.
So your self-awareness, courage, understanding of your own wants, dislikes, and limits, and having a great deal of self-respect are key to being able to successfully develop and enforce boundaries. Because it's not just about developing boundaries or, like you said, the ability to say no. You need to be able to enforce it when needed. So you might know that you can say no, but you might be someone that holds it in, or is indirect about it, or you might say no and take it back later. You need to know how to enforce it and stand firm on your decision and work on your will, so you can stick to what you want. So you need to prioritize your own wants and your needs. And I love what you said about being able to receive no, because whenever we talk about boundaries, or we always talk about being able to say no. So being able to receive no is very is it says so much about your self-worth and self-respect and self-confidence as a person if you're able to receive no. To know that
It doesn't
no does not
remove from who you
you.
are. Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're rejected. It doesn't mean you're inherently terrible or bad or anything. It's just no. Just like you
Yeah,
get
it's just
yes
another
sometimes.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just no. So you have to detach from outcomes or responses from people when you're looking for something. So you shouldn't tie your worth to how someone responds to you. Is the thing.
Do you know this is so interesting because I was watching a video and it was basically talking about the psychology of rejection in men and women, and basically how the person was coming from the point of how men see rejection when it comes to romantic relationships.
Yeah.
So a woman would see no as just an answer most of the times, but most of the times, men or some men don't see no as just an answer, but a reflection of who they are.
Yeah.
So if and they were saying that, and basically it was a whole statistic. The person gave statistics of how women's lives are literally at stake every single time they reject an offer from a man, that has made his intentions known romantically and everything. And I was just like, wow. And basically said that in so many instances and cases, men have gone to kill or harm women that has just simply rejected them. Not even in a disrespectful manner or in a rude manner, but just a simple, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. And it's like a reflection of who you think you are.
Yeah.
If you feel like the answer of someone justifies who you are, you will hold a lot of weight to that response.
Yeah.
And like you said about boundary, it is not just, for example, now, if you say, I like men or I don't want to date a dishonest man, that's good and fine, but that's not a boundary. That's just a wish.
Yeah.
But if you say something like, I would leave at the slightest instance of dishonesty, that is a boundary. And being able to really stand on that rule, it is very hard, especially when it is between someone that you hold dearly. It could be a friend, a best friend, a lover, even your family members, sisters, mothers, brothers, being able to strike that distance and give consequences for every action. I think that's what boundaries are about. Being able to say, I would not reward this behavior, and there has to be consequences for this behavior. If you lie to me, the consequence for that behavior is I leave. And that is that. And you stand by it. And it's just when you talk about guilt, it is changing your perspective as from seeing it, because I feel like when people think about the guilt that comes with enforcing boundaries, they think about it like, I don't want to make this person feel bad, or maybe I was too harsh. What if I was too harsh? Or maybe let me just give them a second chance. No, it's not about them now, it's about you. It's being able to be selfishly in love with yourself. Right. But still not being mean to the other person. I don't know. Do you understand what I'm
that's what
saying?
makes boundaries healthy. When you're able to enforce them and uphold your standards without letting it turn to arrogance, without letting it turn to avoidance, without
arrogance. Very true.
without it being that you're unnecessarily difficult or hard to please or anything. When you know that you're operating from a place of self-preservation, right? So I think to add to what you said about boundaries, it's very important when it comes to relationships and family, friends. Obviously, it's going to be a bit more difficult now because it's like people you love. It's easier with strangers. You can say no, and you won't
colleagues,
overthink it. Yeah, but with your family or friends, because of the love you have for them, it's going to be very difficult. But
Mm.
that's why it's important that from the beginning you had a healthy level of self love.
Well,
So that
yeah.
you wouldn't, the love for others would not override the love for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah, that's
Yeah.
why.
And you're also teaching this other person. If I fuck up, like, sorry for my French, but if I mess up, this person is not gonna have it. Like, it will put people on their toes when they're around you,
Yeah,
not from a place of you're too difficult to handle, but it's like the way you would treat an egg
yeah,
is not the same way you treat a carrot. Do you
yeah,
understand? Because of an egg is fragile and something, you hold it very precious. You hold it dearly. The way you treat diamond is different from the way you treat sand or rock.
yeah,
Because of the value that is attached to the diamond, you won't just mistreat it. You'll not just if it is required for you to clean the diamond 70 times, 7 times a day, you will clean it because you want to uphold that value.
yeah,
But if it's a situation where a rock, it doesn't matter if you leave the rock untouched for the rest of its life, nothing will happen. The rock is still going to be there. Do you
yeah,
understand? That is how important boundaries are.
yeah.
Moving on, can a relationship or friendship survive if only one person is consistently compromising? Hmm. Hey God, let me not talk so much. And at what point does compromise become self-abandonment?
The funny thing is, I was just going to say something about that, but I like
Mm.
the fact that the topic already brings that
Means
up, right?
yeah.
Because I was going to say it's very important. Many people mistake a lack of boundaries. They mistake that for compromise. There's a
Mm.
difference between compromising in
Mm.
a relationship and not and having very poor boundaries,
Could you
right?
give us example?
Okay, compromising obviously stems from the love you have for this person. So
Mm.
you feel like you can accommodate this person's need within a certain level
Mm.
where you don't abandon yourself fully. Where
Okay.
it's like you can say, okay, I can keep in mind what this person wants from me. I can put that in mind and show up for them how they want without fully abandoning myself.
Mm.
So you're not operating from the point of I want to just please this person and I need this person. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make them happy and ignore myself. No,
Mm.
I still love myself, but I want to like you balance it out basically. The love for
Mm.
yourself. You can hold space for someone's needs without throwing away yours.
Mm.
So that's to me that's compromise, right?
Mm.
And then the lack of boundaries is when you throw your needs totally, when you don't care about
Mm.
them. When you say, I come as an afterthought, I don't really care about myself, my needs don't matter, all that matters is making this
Mm.
person happy.
Mm.
So that's where that's self abandonment. Now you've thrown away yourself. It's just all about that person. And that's very unhealthy because you are placing someone above you. You're saying you don't matter, but this person matters
Matters more.
more.
Yeah.
So that's what we don't want to do. So
Mm.
that's the difference between compromise and self abandonment or a lack of boundaries.
Mm.
And based on what you said, right? What did you say
Okay.
again? Compromise in relationships,
Yes.
right?
Can a relationship or friendship
Yeah.
survive if only one person is consistently compromising?
No,
No.
because one person would be spent drained,
Yeah.
unhappy,
Mm.
while someone else is going to be happy
Mm.
and fulfilled and satisfied in that relationship.
And at what point does compromise become self-abandonment?
When you place someone's needs totally
Completely
above
above
yours,
your end.
yeah.
That is, I like what you said. Um, I'm just gonna share a personal story. There was someone that I was talking to at the point in my young, beautiful life, and this person was a calm person, very sweet, very nice. There's no need to stress me. Our conflict resolution was not something that's very important to me. Knowing how to come, because the good times are beautiful and nice, but how are you, or how can we repair and go back to the place of love and care after a fight or a disagreement? So that part was very good. There were two things. Our spiritual disposition wasn't the same. Now he was a Christian, quote and unquote, and I say quote and unquote because he said he was born a Christian or whatever, but he didn't necessarily practice faith. He didn't see any need to read the Bible or go to church or pray, or like he was completely uninterested and detached from the faith.
Yeah.
But in textbook, he was born a Christian, right? He did not identify with any other religion or any other faith. He believes there's God. He believes that Jesus Christ died and everything. But he didn't. His spiritual life didn't grow at all. And I was like, okay, well, and that's a very huge value for me.
Yeah.
There are other things I like to say. Okay, on this topic, I would like to really emphasize on two things. From coming from a place of relationships, when you're entering a relationship with someone, to my young beautiful girls and boys out there, you need to have, it could be an actual physical list or a mental list of your negotiables and your non-negotiables.
Yeah.
That is what was that is what will guide boundaries and compromises.
Yeah.
For example, I am someone who holds my Christian value to the T.
Yeah.
I know the kind of family I want to have. I want to raise godly children because this world is too wicked, and I just can't have my children growing up and thinking you can do life alone or it's not.
Yeah.
So it is important and empirical for me to marry someone or be with someone who holds that same ideology and holds
Yeah.
their relationship with God highly.
Yeah. That's very valid.
And exactly.
Yes.
And then I was with this person, and at a point I was almost compromising, because like I said, things were going fine.
Yeah.
We were. Aside from that, he was very okay. Do you understand? The previous issues I used to have in my previous experiences with, some people, I didn't have it with him.
Yeah.
Very sweet, very kind. But I just sat down with myself for one day, and I said, what am I doing? Would I say because of my feelings for this person, I will throw away something so dear to me like God? And obviously, when you're working with God, Holy Spirit, that's thank God for the Holy Spirit. There's this nudge in my heart
Yeah.
that just felt like I was disappointing God, and I said no now, because I like you, but reach to like abandon God.
Yeah.
And I just called him one day and I said, listen, you're like, it's sweet and all, like, we're good, and I don't want you to feel hurt,
Yeah.
but we're not going on the same path.
Yeah.
Because we had had this conversation so many times about, it was one of the things that constantly kept coming up in the course of the talking stage or situationship or whatever.
Mm.
And eventually, I just had to let it go, right? Because it was a boundary or a standard that I set. And even though I was almost about to throw it away, I had to be honest with myself. And I said, yeah, no, this is not going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's how it ended. So I think the difference between compromise and boundary is just knowing your non-negotiables.
Yeah.
So your non-negotiables are the things you would never compromise on.
Yeah.
Like your values. Okay,
Mhm.
what's this person's spiritual disposition, outlook on life, family, those kind of things that would impact a marriage long term. And then you can compromise on things like looks, perhaps, like, oh, is this person tall, is this person short? That's personally, everybody's non-negotiable is
Yeah.
different. You can compromise on looks or height or where this person is coming from or what this person's complexion is, just stuff like that. So
Yeah, I totally agree.
yeah.
Your compromise shouldn't go towards your non-negotiables. You can compromise on other things, but not your non.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
definitely a person cannot survive if only one person is consistently. No, it's
Yeah.
draining. It is extremely draining
Yeah.
when you're the one that always has to make yourself look small.
Yeah.
And why do you even want to be with someone like that? You understand?
Mm.
Why do you want to be with someone um who is so okay with you always having to make yourself look small,
Yeah.
always
For them to shine.
yes, do you
Yeah.
understand? But yeah, guys, I want to tell you if you've been enjoying the podcast so far and you love what you listen to, you love Conversations with Damola, our guests, you can not only support us by your likes and shares and reposts and comments, but when you're shopping, I don't know how many people love coffee like I do. I love coffee so much. Ask anybody that knows me. I love a good cup of coffee. Both, I would prefer caffeinated coffee, but I don't mind a good decaf coffee as well. And that is why I bring Savorista Coffee to you. I have a code if you want to shop for your coffee on Savorista website. If you use my code Damola, you would have 25% off on every purchase that you make. And the best part of it is that I also get 25% off of every commission of every um, purchase that is being made using the code. So you're not just only getting a discount, you're helping the podcast grow. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. So why don't you take that code and put it and get your discount off? Anyways, let's go back to our conversation.
Yeah.
Why do some people believe that setting boundaries means they're being selfish? What would you say to someone who feels that way?
Mm, People that believe that
Setting boundaries is being selfish.
well, it comes from your idea of what boundaries
Boundaries
means
doing.
in the first place, right? If you know that a, it's something that's meant, these are things meant for protecting yourself and ensuring your self-respect at all times, then of course it will be very easy for you because you know that this does not take away from who you are as a person. It doesn't make you a bad person, right? Well, of course, not everyone thinks that way. There are people that struggle with anxiety, people pleasing behavior, and have like weak-willed natures. So, of course, to people like this that have tied their worth to the validation of others unintentionally, would struggle to enforce boundaries because they feel they're being bad or letting the other person down. But I want you, if you're someone like that, I want you to know that that's not true because you can't please everyone, just like everyone can please you. In life, you're going to. It's okay to let down people sometimes. It's okay to disappoint people.
It's okay to disappoint.
Yeah, it's okay, but disappoint someone today. Disappoint.
That is the new. Yes,
today.
disappoint. Take this from us. Disappoint someone today.
And it doesn't make you a bad person, it doesn't make you a terrible person. You're just a human being. You're allowed to be human. You're allowed to show up for people in so many ways, and you're allowed to sit back and let people show up for you. So sometimes to sit back and let people show up for you means you take yourself away from the side of being the performer, being the doer, being the one always competent and the one leading the way in terms of self-sacrifice and all that. Sometimes it's selfish, sometimes disappoint. Healthy selfishness. Yeah, you can do that. So it's okay. If you know you're a good person, that you should show up for your friends, your family, one day or few days of letting people down wouldn't take away from who you are as a person. So that's why you need to have a grounded sense of self-worth and self-identity. You need to know who you are as a person so that people cannot define your value or your identity for you. If you know that any day, anytime, you're a good person, you're someone that shows up for people, you're someone that tries your best, that would stick with you. So someone trying to make you feel guilty or feel bad for saying no wouldn't shake that because you have a solid sense of self-worth. That's why it's important to know who you are from the beginning so that people's expectations of you or disappointments or whatever will not change your idea of who you are as a person. So it's very important that you know who you are as a person.
Yes. I think that's two things that's very important. First of all, knowing who you are and genuinely just being honest with yourself. Like, if you know you're a people pleaser, don't try and make excuses. Like, no, it's not like I just like to please people. It's just, the Bible says we should be kind.
Yeah.
And, like, no, be honest. I please people at that is they said the beginning of solution of from a problem is first of all identifying the problem.
Yeah.
So if you can sit down and just reflect, that's one thing I'm really grateful for pharmacy.
Mm.
Honestly speaking, one thing that is extremely emphasized in the profession of pharmacy and just healthcare generally is reflection. You need to go back and reflect on every decision you've made, both clinically, both ethically, both emotionally. Every single decision you make has to be, and there are even reports that you write to make sure that you are your decision, your because it's lives you're dealing with, right? To make sure that your decision is coming from a not only professional place but also an ethical position. So it has really taught me to learn how to reflect. There are so many times where I had to really sit down with myself and just be strictly, brutally honest with myself. So I would say the first step is really knowing yourself, being honest with yourself. And number two, educating yourself. For example, if you feel like it's being selfish, go
Mm.
and check for the definition of boundaries.
Yeah.
Go and watch videos. Thank God for this TikTok new age. Go and check for videos. YouTube. What is boundaries? What do they mean by that? Because you cannot tell me, as someone who is constantly giving,
Yeah.
there's no way you're happy.
Yeah.
There's no way. So that sadness you feel in your heart comes from somewhere. And if you want to live your life constantly being unhappy and sad, by all means, let everybody's expectations define you.
Yeah.
If not, disappoint somebody today.
Yes. Disappoint someone today.
Tell yourself today, I am Adenamola Fadisire will disappoint somebody.
Yes.
Okay, so how can someone tell the difference between being patient with someone they love and simply tolerating behavior they should never accept?
Mm. Well, being patient with people you love, sure, the way it manifests in your actions is usually in form of you having conversations with people about things that upset you. For example, if you sit down with a loved one and you tell them, okay, I had an issue with something you did to me, and you know, and they hear you and they promise to change or
Hmm.
do better, for example, and that's an example of you exhibiting patience,
Yeah,
because you know that it's not coming at the cost of your self-respect.
yeah.
You're just giving grace to someone, right?
Mm,
That's you being patient.
mm,
But
yeah. But okay, so for me, I think so it's how can someone tell the difference between being patient with someone they love and simply tolerating behavior they should never expect?
okay, like I said, patience is when you've expressed, when you're not um stomaching what bothers you, when
Mm.
you're not sacrificing your happiness.
Would you
Because
say so?
yeah,
Because, like, in a case of marriage now, for
yeah,
those of us who believe in marriage and we don't plan on never divorcing
yeah,
and we don't believe in divorce, I know there's no way you can tell me marriage is perfect. Like,
yes,
even my mom self, I've had conversations with my mom, with my dad, where it's like they've had this same issue from the day one of the marriage to the day 200, Abi, whatever day this is of the marriage. And it's like, it hasn't really changed, but it's continued to be patient. What would you say, like, in that kind of situation?
well, when you love someone, naturally, that's still compromise. You're going to compromise on certain things, and obviously, that would be you giving grace, being patient, waiting for them to correct certain behaviors.
Mm,
But at the same time, you shouldn't let that go to the point where you're abandoning yourself, because because for example now tolerating behavior that you should not accept now is a totally different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because being patient is when it comes to small things, forgivable things, things that are not your non-negotiables, things that don't that don't come in the way of your worth as a person, things that don't come in the way of the preservation of your self-respect, right? That's you being patient. But allowing people treat you terribly in the name of patience is a totally different thing because now you've abandoned yourself, your needs, your wants, how you want to be treated, and everything. So I think it's important to understand that distinction and make sure that it's okay to be patient, it's okay to compromise sometimes, but not to the point where you lose your voice and someone is blatantly ignoring, especially if you've communicated
several times,
with them and they're just ignoring what you want as a person.
Yeah. I think another thing I would just like to add to that is patterns. Just really observing patterns. So I would always say this: don't judge people by their mistakes. Judge them by their patterns. So if you're with someone who has shown time and time again that they don't value communication, they don't value communicating with you, and you know that, like I said again, you're not having that mental check of negotiable and non-negotiable. If you're someone who values communication very well and it's something that is very important to you, and you see that this person has a pattern of every time they want to make a decision, they never involve you in that decision. Every time they're going through stuff or anything good even happens to them, you are almost the last person to find out. They almost never tell you. You either find out in one way or another, other than them telling you, or maybe it just slips off from them. If that's something that's important to you, and you know that you can't do this long term, then by all means, let the person know that, listen, I'm sorry, but if there is no changes to this, I'm gonna have to leave. But at the same time, just try your possible best to really sit with yourself and ask yourself, if nothing changes, will anything happen to me? Would this really affect me? Right? Because you don't want to be a difficult person. It's not everything you're like, if you don't change, me, I'll go. Madam, leave. If you are not the first or the last person, and they said there are many fishes in each ocean. So just being able to really just look within, like, is this thing really gonna affect me? Is it really affecting me, or am I just being difficult, or am I just hold? Because there are a lot of things. Like for me now, like I said, I do a lot of self reflection. One thing I find that hurts a lot of relationships today is very, very unnecessary, unrealistic expectations. What do I mean? You see a good guy, a wonderful person who is kind, compassionate, child of God, sweet, patient, but maybe this person is not the most chivalrous person, right? And you see a lot of videos now of somebody giving 300 roses to their girlfriend, or gifting is good, is nice, but if you see that you've looked at the CV of this person has this person has that, this person has this. Even though chivalry might be something that you hold dear, do not throw away all the other things because he doesn't buy you roses every once in a while, or because he doesn't necessarily, what they call it, open the car door or something, or open the door for you. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So like, just calm down and say, is it something I'm just being too difficult on, or am I upholding my boundary, quote and unquote, if you get what I mean?
That's where communication comes in. If it's something that really matters to you, and you know that there are other qualities about this person that you really love, you can communicate. I mean, if this person is already ticking the boxes, I'm sure it wouldn't be hard for this person to be someone that can accommodate your wants, your desires. So this person, if you speak to your loved one and you tell them what makes you happy, I'm pretty sure they might be willing to compromise.
But what if they don't? So what will happen then?
Well, that's where, like you said, the CV of this person, when you go through it and you focus on what matters, then yes, that's where you can also compromise towards the person. But usually it's something you need to communicate with your partner. You tell them that, oh, I like this thing, so, and you guys can meet yourselves in the middle. They might not go all the way, but someone that loves you would definitely try to some extent. Yeah.
Um, our next question is: can you still love someone and choose to walk away? If so, how do you know when love is no longer enough?
When, yes, you can do that. You can love someone okay because your self love
Is higher.
higher, it's greater. So no matter the love you have for anyone, the love for yourself should always be greater. And that's what will make it easy for you to leave situations where you feel like your own needs are being compromised or ignored. So
that's when you know when to leave, when you realize that your own needs are being compromised.
When love turns to self abandonment, when love literally turns to self abandonment, that's when you know that it's time to walk away because you've abandoned yourself now in the name of love. So it's time to love yourself back.
Arena.
Walk away. Yeah.
What are some subtle signs that a person has stopped respecting themselves, and if they don't themselves, even if they don't realize it? So this is to all our listeners out there that probably you have a relationship that deep down in your heart you don't know, you know that, but you are still deceived because delusion is crazy.
Yeah.
So what are those signs that you'd say you would let people know, like, so that people will go and sit down and say, do I do this? Do I do that?
For example, how does your partner accommodate your boundaries? For example, boundaries are very important. So when you tell your partner something that bothers you, something you don't like, how do they respect this? Do they dismiss it? Do they promise to change without any change? Do they dismiss you rudely? So this is like a basic sign because if you tell your partner, if someone loves you,
the question is how. What are the signs that a person has stopped respecting themselves? So, like, what are the signs that Auntie Nkechi now, all in the name of boyfriend, being fiance?
Yeah.
She has Auntie Nkechi that we know that is very, high. She has high regard for herself. But lately, we have been seeing Auntie Nkechi.
Has become a shadow.
Yes, has become a shadow of herself. So how would you? Maybe Auntie Nkechi does not realize it in her mind. She's like, "Oh, my man, I love my man," but she doesn't realize that she's losing herself. If Auntie Nkechi is listening to this podcast now, what are those signs you would tell her to look out for to check if she is actually abandoning herself, or if her family people or her friends are just village people that don't want to see the relationship succeed?
Well, do you find yourself always ignoring your needs for your partner? When was the last time you like decisions were made for your own
benefit?
Yes, your own happiness, your own joy. Like it wasn't your partner. It wasn't because of your partner's happiness, or it was about you. When was the last time the decision was made that was centered around you and just for you to be happy, right? If you can't even name any instance that something was done for your sake, for your own happiness, that's one telling sign because it shows that you're in a relationship where your needs are not even considered at all. Like you're literally nobody in that relationship, and this person is on a different level, right? Also sometimes it's in your physique, like your appearance.
Your appearance,
sure. You notice that when I got into this relationship, I've started to tell myself, "Oh, I'm not feeling as motivated as I used to be. I'm not glowing like I used to. I'm
Everything is
breaking out.
suffering.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
stress.
business, my skin self is
Yeah, your
yeah
skin, your stress,
stress.
pimples everywhere.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Mm,
You can tell. Yes, another thing, your thoughts, your instinct. You know it
mm,
in yourself. Like, hey, I could. If you sit down and ask yourself, like the question a lot of women should ask themselves when you think of your ideal partner, the first person that fits you. If you were to imagine someone that,
if you were to create your own
yes, your own
partner,
person that you
does this
feel would,
person even come close?
yeah, to that person. Like the question, would my husband do this? Will the person that's going to love me the most in the world do this to me?
Mm,
And if this person you're with is kind of doing this without thinking, without any care in the world, you know that okay, this person does not care about me the way
mm,
I deserve to be looked
love.
after, cared for.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Another thing I like to just quickly throw on that is, does this person love me the way Christ has asked
yeah,
them to be loved? I believe, does this person emulate the fruit of the spirit? These are for my Christians that listen to this now. For example, if you're dating a Christian, what are the fruits of the spirit? It's not just about saying, "Oh, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian."
yeah,
If the spirit of God really lives inside of them, are they loving? Are they kind? Are they gentle? Are they patient? I remember and sometimes it can even be you that is listening to this thing as a toxic partner.
yeah,
So it's not. Don't be quick to look at and say, brother Ebuka, you are so bad. Sister Nkechi, you too. Go and check yourself.
yeah,
Are you a loving person? Are you kind? Are you joyful? Or are you the kind of person that, okay, so I'll give an example, guys. I really value intimacy on this podcast. But
yeah,
I'll give an example. I was in a relationship once where I found myself, and it was so bad that I didn't, obviously, there's a way love consumes you.
yeah,
Someone who has never been in love will see a person in love and call the person a fool.
yeah,
But it's until you enter inside that shoe, a madman does not know when he's mad.
yeah,
It is only people that have seen him that know he's mad. So
yeah,
until you enter inside that shoe, you will not know what it feels like. So everybody, my mom, in fact, it was so bad that one day around 5 a.m., my mother came to my room.
yeah,
And she said, "Man, that you have not even married is already taking the joy out of you. This is not the daughter that I gave birth to." And that was a wake up call for me.
yeah,
That was the beginning of the end of that relationship.
yeah,
And she said, this is not the child I gave birth to. Damola, you are a happy human being. You are a
yeah,
happy woman. You emulate joy. Ever since I've known about this man, you have forgotten yourself. Everything that everybody says to you doesn't matter. You have become a shell of yourself. And that's when I really went back to the drawing board and I really sat with myself and said, "Oh no, I got to wake up. Oh.
yeah,
I really have to break for." And it is also important to have that circle around you.
yeah,
People who can tell you the truth.
mm,
People who can tell you, "See, if this man beats you to death, will you be happy? Leave. I will provide everything you need. Is it house you don't have to go to? Come and live with me." So
yeah,
just surrounding yourself with that support
yeah,
system.
it's very
So
important.
it's especially when you've loved very deeply. It is easy. Sometimes you can leave and go back again. But I'm really grateful for my support system. When I was finally able to break free from that relationship, God willing, thank God, I had a family, a father, a mother, siblings that, and my support system, my immediate family, right?
Yeah,
Thank God for that.
yeah, mhm,
And I would go, no matter how many times I cry, I could literally call my mom around 12 a.m. crying, "Mommy, I miss you. Mommy, why did I? Hell,
yeah,
love will turn you into what I don't." And my mother would say, "It's okay. It is okay. It's fine to miss him. Just know that you are loved at home." And they write, God will not see something good for you and reject it for you. So I think just having a support system also really, really helps. Um, we'll soon be rounding up. The next question is, how do you rebuild your confidence and self-worth after spending years in relationships or friendships where you constantly felt unseen, unheard, or undervalued?
like we said. at the beginning, self-worth is understanding your innate value as a human being, right? So, um, there are certain things you might experience in life that might knock off this self-worth, be it a failed relationship, maybe losing a job, things not going as planned, maybe in business, things that knock down your confidence, your self-esteem as a person. But I, well, I think working, understanding who you are as a person, rebuilding the identity, right, is necessary because when you really sit down to think about the positives of you, about you, and gratitude is very important, right? We always focus on the negatives, what we're losing, what we don't have in our lives, and things like that. When you really sit down and think about how far you've come, there are probably things that you wished for at some point in previous years that you've probably gotten now that you don't even realize. So if you sit down to think about how far you've come, what you've achieved, relate to the micro wins, are very important when you realize when you're someone that inculcates the act of being grateful in general, right? It would be very easy for you to build your confidence and self worth because you would have instances you could always go back to where you were winning, you were doing great, you were doing amazing. So when you keep reminding yourself of the amazing positive things about you, it'll be very easy for you to know that hey, I'm actually an amazing person regardless of wherever I find myself or experience. I'm always going to come out on top. I'm always going to thrive. I'm always going to bounce back. I'm a resilient person. Practicing mindfulness. You look in the mirror every day. You say positive things to yourself. Things like this can help you rebuild that self worth when you know that as a human being you're valuable. Like God created us in His own image. God created us with innate value. So it's not value that you develop, it's value that you already have in you. Every human being is valuable. And the way I see self worth is this, right? So there's self worth and there's self respect, right? The self worth to me is like your diamond. When you mentioned the diamond analogy earlier, I was like, I got excited because I knew I was going to talk about it. It's very, very interesting analogy, right? So your self worth is like you're a diamond, right? And then self respect is how you treat this diamond, knowing that it's valuable. So because you know that you're a diamond now, you don't put yourself down for others to step on, walk on. You don't pour dirt over yourself. You don't talk down on yourself because you know that you're valuable. So self worth is you knowing that you're a diamond, and then your self respect is in how you carry yourself as someone that's aware that you're a diamond. So self worth comes first together with self identity when you know who you are and you know that you're valuable. And then self respect is in how you carry yourself. And then this micro habits would lead to this, boost your confidence, how you carry yourself,
Yeah, I think that's such a beautiful analogy. Self identity and self worth is first of all knowing you're valuable, and then self respect is knowing how to treat and uphold that value. It's just like when you see all these luxury brands, all these Chanel, the Lacoste, the Bugatti, and everything. You'll hear a lot of people say they're so expensive. A classic example is Balenciaga. Everybody sees the rubbish Balenciaga produce for very, very ridiculous prices, right? But you will never see Balenciaga say, well, because people don't like me or because people have been complaining, let me just reduce my. Balenciaga can carry a random nylon bag from the street and call it £10,000. And people will pay that £10,000. Why? Not because it is a nylon, but it's because Balenciaga is the one that is selling it. So the name itself is the value, not just the item. So
the identity.
yes, they have built that identity. So people who can afford to pay for it will pay for it, and those who can't afford it, well, go and find what you can afford. And that's how you should just look at it. Yes, you might lose this person you're with, right? But the person who can afford to be with you, to take care of you the way you want to be taken care of, the way you take care of yourself as well.
Yeah.
So, for example, you hear girls come online and say stuff like, if he's not, if he's not giving me £10,000 every month, I don't want him. If he's not buying me 30 each bust down, 360 kidney cut, all those.
Yeah.
I don't even wear wigs like that, so I don't really know. If he's not buying me those wigs, I don't want him. But do you take care of yourself like that?
Yeah.
Do you love yourself
Exactly.
like that? I was seeing, we're not talking about men or women here, but when I say people know what they are
Yeah,
doing,
people know what they're
I
doing.
was seeing a tweet online, and this man said, I think the question was, men, what makes you treat women differently? And the man simply said, I will treat a woman the same way I've seen her. If I,
Myself, yeah.
yeah, if I see that you are someone who has traveled the world,
Yeah.
I will make sure I do everything to take you somewhere, even if it's one place I can take you to. I
Mm.
will make sure that I will spend that money and take you somewhere. If I see that you don't even have a passport, I will not even carry flights to for you to
I saw
come.
that too.
He even said that he went to spend the night with. I mean, he spent some time with two girls. One, he paid for flights
Yeah.
for her to come. The other one, he put her on a bus.
Yeah.
Why? Two different girls coming to meet her, but one probably has carried herself and has put herself in that position where she really invested in herself.
Yeah.
She said, I must travel. She bought a passport. She
Yeah.
did a passport for herself. She paid for the flights. She went out. She has expanded her horizon. So the kind of people she would attract now are not just anyhow people. That's why if she comes and says, I won't be with you if you cannot pay for my flights, the man will not say, "Oh, get out, I don't care." Even if he says that, it's fine. Why? Because you can pay for your flight.
Yeah.
But if you're seeing a man as a road to escape poverty,
Yeah.
you see that even if you end up getting into his house, he
Mm.
won't treat you. Most of the time, they won't treat you as that queen that you should
Yeah.
be.
And they can always tell because
They can't tell, my
your
sister.
confidence and how you value it's not something you announce,
And
it's how you
I
carry
carry
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah.
It even reminds me of something someone said on this podcast. He said, "Value is not announced."
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't need to. If I bring diamond here, I don't. The diamond
To
does not need to
say
say,
it. It's
"Hey,
just
I'm here."
radiating
By the time light
kindness.
shines on the
You
light,
can
diamond
tell.
like this, then you'll be the one like,
Yeah.
Damola, is this diamond? Yes, it is. I am a diamond.
Yeah.
Clock it.
Yeah. And you don't need you need to see yourself as that
Mm,
regardless of
of
while working obviously you are working towards achieving your goals
mm,
and being getting to greater heights and being bigger than you
mm,
are. But at all times, your confidence should match where you hope
to be,
to be. So you start to
yeah,
that's how you attract it. That's how you get there
mm-hmm.
by already. I feel this one.
Working that
Yeah, this
identity.
is one case where fake life is good.
Yes, fake it till you
Fake
make
it till you
it.
make it. So it's
Yeah,
like I'm the shit. I'm not
I'm
yet the
the
shit,
shit.
but I'm the
I'm the
shit.
shit.
While
Yeah,
working to be
to
the
make it
shit.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's first of all starts with like you said, an identity thing. So you might not necessarily be there yet, but look at yourself, carry yourself. Like for example, now my podcast is still is small, right? We're just starting, but you need to hear me when I talk about my podcast. Hmm. You would think I've been doing this for years.
yeah,
You would think the people that have been listening to this thing are, because I know eventually we will get to that stage.
yeah,
So I carry myself and I treat it like that now.
yeah.
So that when I get there, it will not be new to me.
Yeah, and you won't have imposter syndrome. It will just start to
Exactly.
shock you when
When it's
because you're like, I
exactly.
already knew that, so I'm not surprised. Like, so confidence is not even not arrogance, but confidence because you believe in yourself, and when
Yeah.
you believe in yourself, others will
Yeah.
believe in
And
you.
people who don't
Yeah,
have that confidence will see it as arrogance. And my
yeah,
sister, that's fine. And no, be comfortable with just being fine with hatred.
yeah,
Be comfortable with people not liking you for the way you carry yourself.
yeah,
Don't ever try to fit into people's expectations or want it to be like. That is the beginning of destruction.
yeah.
Moving on. For someone listening who wants to start loving themselves more, what's one practical habit? We've spoken about this already.
Yeah,
One thing I would really try to emphasize is self okay, what's the word that I'm looking for? Um,
So discovery.
no, not self discovery. You know, when you're talking positively to yourself.
Okay, positive reinforcement.
Yes,
Like
positive
daily
reinforcement. The
affirmations,
daily
stuff like that.
affirmations. Yes,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Daily affirmations. That is, I think, that is one thing that has really helped me. When
Yeah.
I was entering university and I realized I was going to do pharmacy, I knew pharmacy was chemistry, and in secondary school, chemistry was not my strong suit.
Mm,
Give me biology, give me maths, give me English. I will
yeah.
pieces it for you. But you see, chemistry and physics,
Yeah.
I don't even want to cite it. That is how it was. When I realized I was going to do chemistry, first thing I did was I was aware. I told myself that Mala, you are not good at chemistry.
Yeah.
That was number one. Number two, I did 3 days fasting and prayer. I know some people will say, why spiritualizing the whole thing? I believe in what is first spiritual before physical. I did 3 days fasting and prayer, and I told God, I said, God, you have given me this the spirit that dwells in you is the same spirit that dwells in me. I have the mind of God. God that created the heavens and earth is obviously not an Olodo God. He
Yeah.
knows chemistry. So please do this for me.
Yeah.
Number two, I think number three, every day
Mm-hmm.
before I resume school, I will carry my mirror and I will look into the mirror and I will say to myself, Damola, you are good at chemistry.
Yeah.
Damola, you love chemistry. Damola, you will succeed in pharmacy. And I kept saying it. And I promise you, my first semester result till tomorrow, if you check my results, you see all the courses that involves chemistry. Generally, I'm a decent student and everything,
Yeah.
but chemistry, the way I fell in love with it,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
all the things I found so hard, it just became easier by self. I mean, what they call it,
Daily
daily
affirmations and positive
affirmations
reinforcement.
and everything.
Yeah.
So those positive reinforcements, daily affirmations, I think are things we need to really emphasize on.
And
German.
people, whenever we say look in the mirror and say good things to yourself, right? People usually think it's not all that. Like, nah, I hear people saying this, like, it doesn't do anything. But people do not realize how much that works.
Consistent
Yeah,
daily, not just
consistently. Yeah,
once.
it does. Because one of those people. I mean, when I used to hear people tell me, when I used to see it on podcasts or like on social media, when I hear therapists or people talking about positive reinforcement through daily affirmations, I used to think, obviously, I already know that. I can
Mm.
just tell myself that I don't need to do all that,
Mm.
right? But when I started to actually
Look
talk
at
to myself,
yeah,
look in the mirror
it does
and say
something.
it does something to you.
Mm.
Because it's like before the world gets to talk down at you, you've spoken well to
Yeah,
yourself
so,
or at yourself, you've
yeah.
spoken. So imagine starting the day where you tell yourself, you're amazing, you're going to do good today.
Mm.
No matter what happens, you're still going to end up as this
Mm.
amazing person that you are, right? Imagine you've
Mm.
already imprinted and planted this in your mind
Mm.
before heading out and going about your day. So regardless of what anyone throws at you, you still know you've kind of already set the tone for that day.
Yeah.
You've already led with being amazing. You detach
Mm.
yourself from whatever outcome.
People are gonna
Yeah.
tell you,
So yeah,
yeah.
it's very important. I think today, if you don't do that, you should go to your mirror now. Go and see or
Mm.
write 10 positive things about yourself and say them to yourself
Mm.
every single day. And
Mm.
watch the wonders that will do in your life. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. And our last question:
Yeah.
if you could leave everyone listening with one principle that would help them protect their peace, self-respect, and relationships, what would it be?
Mm, well, at the end of the day, the in every situation, in everything, what matters is always your opinion of yourself. You
Mm.
know what you think of yourself. So if you can get that right, you can solidify that, you're good. If you solidify your self identity, who you are as a person, if you get to know who you are as a person, and you stamp that in your mind, this is who I am as a person, you're going to make it far in life. Because
Mm.
when that is your identity and your awareness of who you are as a person is unshakable,
Mm.
you take away the validation becomes stops being dependent on people's
People, yeah.
opinions of you because you know who you are. And people that know who they are carry themselves with a
And
different level of
mm,
confidence because you know that no matter what happens, this is the blueprint for you. This is who you are as a person. So
mm,
nothing is going to change that. You know, this is who you are as a person. And naturally that spills into how you carry yourself, your confidence, your self respect, all of this, how you're able to enforce boundaries and all of that, you know.
yeah.
Especially if you're a people pleaser, you need to understand one thing people keep forgetting as a people pleaser is that you're a person too. So you please yourself too. You don't just please others, you
Mm,
please yourself too. So people pleasing is not just pleasing other people, it's pleasing yourself.
yeah.
And how you please yourself is by recognizing that you matter, you're valuable, you're amazing, and your needs deserve the front seat. You know, in your
Mm,
life.
your needs deserve the front seat.
Yes, prioritize yourself. But yeah, your self respect is tied to your self identity. If you notice, a lot of these phrases start with self, because it all starts
Mm,
with you. Your self worth, self respect, self esteem, all of these things start with you. So when you inculcate this values and way and mindset, the right mindset, when you invest in yourself, right, the world can only match, you know, the tone that you set, basically.
mm,
So when you set the tone for how you want to be treated, the world has no choice,
option, yeah.
yeah, no option
And do you know the
but to
beautiful?
follow.
Do you know the
Yeah,
beautiful thing about this thing? It, it's so funny how the moment you change your mindset, the way you see this thing,
yeah,
somehow things just start to align.
yeah,
Like, for example, to if you expect all men to cheat,
yeah,
you always find yourself with men that cheat.
yeah,
If you expect to be with a faithful man and understand that not all men cheat,
yeah,
there are faithful men out there, and I'll find the faithful one. You will find yourself with someone who is faithful.
yeah,
So it starts from the mind.
yeah.
It stands. The world starts from your mind. Well, thank you so much, Miss Ada. I am really, really grateful. Is there anything you'd like to add to this?
Well, honestly, I had a very good time. It was a very good conversation. I like the topics that we touched on. But you know, the beautiful thing about conversations like this, right? Not only are we giving our insights to help others,
Mm,
right? It's also to help ourselves because we're
yeah,
reinforcing a lot of things. You know, through conversation, we're able to reach back into our heads and minds and bring
yeah.
these things to our forefront.
Mm,
Maybe there are little ways we sleep in terms of, you know, our self awareness
yeah.
and the culture that we've adopted in terms of self respect and all of these things, right? So these
Mm,
things keep these conversations like this are serve as a reminder, you know, that
yeah.
we should continue because it's a journey, right? We should continue trying and striving to be the best versions of ourselves. You know, it's learning, healing is not linear. You know,
Yeah.
there'll be setbacks, but as
Mm,
long as you're determined to get to the best version of yourself, you
mm,
will be fine. So
okay.
I love this conversation for that.
Mm,
Yeah, because it's helped me while we're talking to realize, because you know, while speaking, you realize you also apply the same standards to yourself. You're like, do I do this thing?
yeah.
You know, sometimes you get caught up in like the hustle and bustle of the day.
Yeah.
You don't remember that. Wait, am I choosing myself at all times? And
Mm,
you know, things like that. The conversations like this help you to be mindful, you know,
mm,
because mindfulness is very important. You
yeah.
don't just live like a sheep. You actually have to live intentionally. You have to know every single thing that you do has to come from a place of wanting yourself, your self respect and self esteem to be upheld at all times.
Yeah.
Basically.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much. It's just as you said, it really reinforces your own belief
yeah,
of yourself. The conversation has helped me as well as we're talking. I was also having those, do I do this? Do
yeah.
I still do this? Am I better at this now? It's really deep, but I'm grateful for your insight and your wisdom. And I hope to see you on the episode another time.
Mhm.
Guys, we have come to the end of this episode, but just before I leave you, I would like to remind us we're moving on to the segment, put it on a t shirt. If you've been here for a while, there is a part of the podcast where we reiterate powerful words that was said in the last episode. And on our last episode, we spoke on different things. And one of the few nuggets that was said by myself and my guest was one, I want to live my life to be heavily conscious but earthly relevant. That one really stuck with me. And another person said in the comment section that really stuck to them was, there is still room at the cross for you. So if during the episode you heard something that really stuck to you, that really created an impact or just changed your perspective, let us know in the comment section and we'll be sure to reiterate it during our next episode. And if you're willing to collaborate or work with us, send us a DM or an email at ayomidefadeshere@gmail.com and we'll be happy to reach out to you. Don't forget to use my code DAMOLA when you want to order your coffee and you want to just enjoy yourself. Savorista Coffee does very, very delicious decaf coffee and also caffeinated coffee. And you get 25% off. Guys, this is the best deal you will ever get. Trust me, I bring the best deals to you. I love you guys so much. So if you know you're in for a good ride, use Jamala when you're trying to check out on Savarista and get 25% off on your order. And also, you'll be helping me and helping the podcast. It's a win win situation for all. And with that, I say thank you for listening and have a good day. Bye for now.